plain bad. Some of them are good. This hopefully is some tools. And also it's something to look at other than market cap. Market cap is a very misleading indicator because, as many people have pointed out, if I created Bitcoin today, for example, and the first 7,200 coins came out in day one, and you bought one of those coins for $10, say, yeah, sure, new Bitcoin, or we call it Bitcoin 3, or whatever, however many we're up to, Bitcoin 10, and we came out with it, you bought one coin for $10, then the market cap is almost as high as the real Bitcoin. So does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. It's the same thing as people have said, I make a new coin, issue 1,000 coins, sell one for $1,000, get a $1 billion market cap. So anyway, those 10 things are things that you look for. Security, and I'll go through these actually one by one. So, and then you assign each of those values as a value from 0 to 10. And then at the end, you'll have a score of 1 to 100. So first thing is security. How secure is this blockchain? How secure is the smart contract? Most digital assets are based on ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. So you want to see how secure is that? There's been some problems with some. How secure is the contract? And then also evaluate how secure is Ethereum blockchain or whatever blockchain it is on. Bitcoin has a very secure blockchain, for example, that has been tested and proven and attacked, so that would probably have a very high rating for security. What are you getting for your investment? Is this usable? Is it a security? A lot of times people make mistakes saying, oh, this ICO is super cool, they're gonna, I don't want to pick on any ridiculously bad idea because it might be a real person's idea, but they're gonna do something really, really stupid and it's gonna be great and make a bunch of money. Okay, maybe, but how do you know you're gonna get any of that? Could be a great idea, but if you don't participate in it, and that's the problem with a lot of these scammy utility tokens. Typically, utility tokens are either illegal securities or they've got really good lawyers where they've made it not a security, but the purpose in most of them isn't to have a utility or have anything that's useful for you to participate, it's for them to raise money. So the ICO people sit around and they say, let's raise a bunch of money, everybody's raising money, people are throwing all kinds of money at stupid things, we could raise $50 million. How do we do it? Call the lawyers. The lawyer says, don't be a security, man, that's big trouble. Make a utility coin. So then they go back and they say, okay, here's our plan. We're going to put dog training on the blockchain. All right, how do we make a utility? I know, we make a token, and you got to pay for the token to get the dog training. Those aren't going to work. It's essentially a roundabout way for people to avoid securities laws. Unless you're really getting real utility, you're not getting anything. So what are you participating in for your investments beyond having a good idea? Same with accounting and legal. How do you know how many tokens there are? Is this legal? Is it illegal? Maybe you don't care. Maybe it matters depending on how you're investing. Community management and team is really important. Who's managing it? Who's behind it? What are their technical creds? Is there a community? Is it a real community, or is it just marketing that's gone out and pushed a bunch of people into a get-rich-quick Telegram group? Is it a real community that's really rolling up their sleeves and developing, and building tools, and doing things around the technology, or is it just a whole bunch of people talking about how they're going to get rich when it goes to the next point in the ICO or whatever? So looking at who the community is. Earnings are another important one, and that's kind of basic in any equity type of thing. And again, this is where we see a disconnect between plans and ideas, and how is that going to affect you in your pocket. Once the project earns something, will it earn something? And then you have to follow the money. So when you're reading these white papers or marketing documents, it says, we have a great idea for ICO, this, which does dog training on blockchain or whatever. And then you say, that's a brilliant idea. Okay, how am I going to get money from that? So suppose they make $1 billion on their idea. Read the fine print. It doesn't mean your token's going to make anything. Your token may just be a worthless piece of digital nothing. And the company that issued, since you don't have equity, typically with tokens, they have, they make a lot of money. Like Oculus Rift, they did a fundraising thing for their VR headset, raised $8 million. They just kept the money, and then they used that, and then they got acquired by, I think it's Amazon. So it's supply and demand. Is the coin supply fixed? Is it limited? Personally, I like limited supplies like Bitcoin. How's the supply decided? Who issues more tokens? These kind of things. What is it used for? All right. If it's a utility token, you've got to really ask a super hard question. Is anybody going to use this? Is it really useful? Do you really need it? And will somebody else take an open source idea? Because if it's a truly great idea, somebody else may take an open source idea and issue the same thing. So I say, what is it going to be used for? Is it currency? Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, a couple others are trying to be currency. That's a very, very different thing from an equity. It's a very different thing from a utility token. It's a very different thing from an API key. That's why you need sort of some sort of common language that you can evaluate these kind of things. Because if you're saying the value of this is currency, people are going to use it for goods and services. They're going to use it for the same reasons that make a currency good: fungibility, usability, acceptability, durability, all these things that, the principles of money. That's super different from, I think this idea is going to do well and that will translate to my profits somehow in the token, or I think this API key or whatever, it's going to be Rails or something. So I want to say, what is the usability? What is the industry backing, institutional backing? Who's working on it? Does it have any partners? Are there big companies? That may be a bad thing, actually, depending. Do they have any JVs? Who are the actual people and everything behind it? Technical is really key also. With a huge number of digital assets, it's interesting. A lot of people jump into digital assets because they want exposure to blockchain, because they believe blockchain technology is going to be a good thing. I believe that as well. With many projects, particularly a lot of tokens and ICOs, they don't really have any technical details at all. They haven't invented anything. They just are using blockchain technology. They're using Ethereum, typically, an ERC20 token to raise money, but that doesn't mean by participating in your token, you're participating in blockchain. It's like saying, if I buy a book on Amazon, I'm participating in